Man, it's getting kind of wild out here. Prepare yourself because what you're about to see, you might be disgusted about, but we're going to talk about it.
Tell him I got the juice.
So, this is a recent, oh my goodness. Oh man. So, of course, yeah. Oh, this is Aftermath. Hold on. Wow.
Fuck this
Wow.
name is crazy. I'm gonna start listening to his music now because ain't no way they let him get away with that bullshit. You have absolutely no respect for that man at all. At that point, you got to get his sisters or somebody to whoop your ass. She basically
Yeah,
emasculated
they're
that man
trying
in
to
front of
cut.
a whole crowd of other people, and she gave there's no remorse. But I gotta wonder, where is this dude's friends at? Because that group chat gotta be crazy. How do you
That's a good
support your
question.
mans? How do you tell your homie, yeah, everything's gonna be all right? At that point, I understand him crashing out. I understand him never
Now,
being the same again. Because these hoes ain't.
so all right. So obviously this is trending, and I want to try to see this too, man. So I mean, everybody's got something to say on this. Duke Dennis.
Man, I don't give a if he was street performing. If another man tell you to come in, guess what I'm gonna do? Guess what? I'm gonna put it. He tell you to come in and he come down. First off, I'm saving myself the embarrassment at all costs. I'm lying
I
and
think,
saying that ain't even my regardless. First,
and let's be real. I think from this experience, okay, and we're gonna kind of catch up in a minute. This is probably a lot of men's thinking in this moment. Apparently, this relationship was 7 years long, and now this happened. They go to a concert, and she gets picked up from the crowd, and she just goes crazy. I mean, it's not okay at all. And he obviously, as you saw in the previous video, he's devastated. And I think any guy who's genuinely loving his girl in that space, in that relationship, is probably going to react the same way, potentially, if not worse, right? And so I think for Duke to mention that, I think that's the mindset of a lot of guys from this encounter. But I'm curious.
off, I'm lying and say, chill, that wasn't even my girl. Off the flap, I'm telling you whatever to save me.
Yeah, and think about where that comes from, right? Because like you want to save yourself from the embarrassment. You don't want people to see that in that moment. I think there's a lot of guys that would move that way.
Saving face. Ain't my girl. Cause I'm getting up as soon as she get up and walk up, I'm getting up and leaving. And guess what? I'm getting up and leaving off the rip. Man, I'm not finna watch you up there been that and she Chad.
Man,
she went up there and did the absolute most too.
She did.
I done seen some.
So again, so many people have so much to say on this. I mean, this is trending. Look at, I mean, this is the stuff that was happening behind the scenes, apparently. Like, wow, just crazy. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I want to say a few things. One, to the young man and anybody who experiences anything like this is not to dismiss your frustration, your pain, your despondence, your crushing. All of that is understood, hands down. I think what's important though, now I'm gonna give an unpopular opinion to all of this. I think grace is necessary. In the name of biblical relationships around here, it is so important. It's so crazy, man. Like grace is amazing when we need it, and scandalous when other people who commit certain actions need it. Even actions we don't see ourselves doing, or we try to rank the levels and degrees to them. And in some way, shape, or form, there's so many people who's looking at the situation and is going like, yo, like I feel so much better about the things that I'm doing because at least I'm not boom, boom, boom. Right. At least I'm not in a committed relationship and taking somebody through the mud. At least I'm not embarrassing my significant other on national platforms and stages. And I think it's real easy in these moments to lose sight of grace, to lose sight of love, to lose sight of really seeing a lot of bigger picture in this space. And as crazy and frustrating and blindsiding and even potentially relatable it can be to a lot of people, just as much as people are coming to the defense of the guy, I'm not coming to the defense of her because I don't think there's anything to defend. That's just not okay. And I don't think that we ought to take our time to attack her character and assassinate her as a person online and through social media because of the action she's done. Can we keep it a buck for a second? There are so many who are coming on these social media platforms and are dragging this poor girl for a very compromising decision she made. Clearly didn't think things through. This is not to excuse her behavior, but we are coming on here and trying to embarrass people when y'all know some of the stuff y'all be doing. Let's keep it a buck. You and me, you know what you're doing behind the scenes, the kind of activity you have carried or you are carrying towards other people. And you may not be in a committed relationship and embarrassing a significant other, but let's be real. You're moving manipulatively. You're moving in a very scandalous way. Tell me how you are in a better position than that person. Tell me you have not made compromising decisions. Tell me that you have not made decisions that you know you would regret as soon as you've done the deed. So I think it's one of those moments that we read in scripture, Matthew in the Sermon on the Mount. Matthew 7 verse 3, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. And so I think what is really important in moments like these, in moments where people are exposed, embarrassed, called out, and thrown out into the public light for their decisions and their poor decisions, compromising decisions, instead of heaping on and instead of taking the time to add on to the embarrassment and assassinate this person's character, or even find ourselves trying to judge and condemn that person, as this context suggests, we need to be willing to move gracefully by reflecting on the times that we've compromised and reflect on the moments where we too have dropped the ball in massive moments that impacted the lives of others around us. And instead of cooking them and condemning them, we actually be more willing to move gracefully. And I think sometimes we get that confused because we think moving in grace means that I'm excusing your behavior, that I'm defending your behavior. There's nothing to defend about what she did. I don't know the context. I don't know the story. That's another thing too. We should be willing to be mindful of that. There's so much more context to that. And there's no amount of context that excuses her for this decision. Again, I will continuously say that throughout this entire conversation, but it is important, that we don't be in a rush to try and destroy people based off of moments of compromising, because you've done it too. I've done it too. And so let's move with grace, even if it was in a different area, because grace with truth is actually what changes minds and hearts and perspectives on situations. But here's another thing too that I will say on top of that. It is so important we do not use this relationship as the standard bearer. I don't think that this is the standard. And men are going to come in.
Oh, well, that's why you don't get with women today. Women just gonna go to the highest bidder. She's single for the right person.
Please don't buy into that message. The definer of love, the standard of love, is Jesus. So when moments like this come, we ought to be willing to come back to the source and say, but what does Jesus say love looks like? This is like a verse that we can remind ourselves of in moments where we see people who are hurt, when we see people who are broken, when we see traumatic experiences like this person experienced, where all of a sudden, all those years of relationship now seemingly going down the drain. And now you got so many people who are putting their faces and opinions all over it, and it's really tough. And if that guy, man, ever catch this video, man, I want to remind you, bro, I'm gonna just be so real before I even read this text. God loves you, man, and this is a really tough deal, and it is okay to hurt. It's okay to grieve this. It is okay to feel the feelings and emotions that you're experiencing in this moment, and know that this is not going to define you, and this does not have to define what love can look like for you in the future, regardless of what takes place. But this is really what love looks like in 1 Corinthians 13. To everybody who might feel like, hey, this is going to impact how I date, how I love, how I meet people, how I treat, look at this. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others, bro. Straight up. It is not self-seeking. Straight up. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Straight up on the real. And the greatest picture of this love is Jesus. And being connected to him, we're able to be consumed by this love that he has for us, that allows us to pour it out onto other people that we encounter, that creates so much change in the lives of others around us. Don't let bad examples be the definition barrier or the definition bearer of relationships for you. Your relationship does not have to turn out like that. Your experience does not have to be like that. Not all women will move in the same fashion as she did in that very moment. And yet this is exactly what people need as ammo to see. I told you. Nah, we need to be willing to remind ourselves in moments of this, not that all relationships are bad, dating is bad, marriage isn't the move, no girl is going to commit, all girls are bad girls, and and the good ones who are still seen are just ones who aren't caught. This isn't a case of women don't love men, women don't care for men. This is not one of those moments. This is one of those moments where we ought to reflect back on the true legitimate source of love, remind ourselves of what love ought to be, and actually remain in that source instead of using our pain or using projected pain as the source of what love should be. Bam, I'm gonna be honest, being in that position, I initially, I'm not even saying that I was thinking all the way right. Ain't no way. There's just no way. That is crazy. That is wild. That is asinine. For you to invest so much time into a relationship and for that to be the one moment where you just throw it all away and it didn't take much and you just what? And remember that grace and truth is necessary in moments where you're offended, in moments where the offense is at its highest, it's at its peak. You've been done wrong. You've been dishonored. You've been disrespected. And so many people are now responding to everything that they've seen. This is a moment where grace must be present in order for the most to be gotten out of such a moment, to be able to live forward. If some of y'all stuff was exposed, boy, please. What? Y'all not too loud and rah-rahing on social media. And that's not to condemn and cook either. That's just to show that just as much as grace is available to you, it's available to me, it's available to her. And we don't want to go on a tangent and disrespect, dishonor, and partake in the pride that is being shown from a lot of people on social media instead of actually moving in love, which is warranted in such a space as this. So those are my thoughts on all of this, man. And I really want to know you guys' thoughts on the OMHA concert. I believe it's what it's called, OMHA. So you guys drop y'all's thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think? What would you do if you were in this situation? How would you respond? And man, I really do feel for this guy. It's extremely unfortunate. And I'll definitely be praying for him, man, because that is a lot to process. That's a traumatic experience and that can't be overlooked. And healing is definitely needed. If you guys are looking for any resources on how to overcome rejection and things of that sort, your boy's got a 7-day devotional journey dedicated to helping you navigate through rejection, all dedicated to finding things in the text and applying it into our lives, journaling, all that good stuff for the free. Link is in the description. Check it out. And I hope you guys enjoyed this content and enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts below. And as always, until next time, be easy and be breezy. Peace.